We're gonna be analyzing this really fucked up river spot facing a massive raise. And what would you do in these situations? You have a straight, your opponent could be bluffing with ace queen, ace jack. Do you think people ever bluff here on low stakes, mid stakes? Do you think it's just on high stakes? I don't know. It's a really weird spot. That's probably one of the spots where you feel like you have such a strong hand facing a raise. You know you're never really good, but then on the other side, he checks back the turn. Is he slow playing a flush? I mean, this hand was just absolutely crazy, and I'm really curious what you guys will do. Don't forget, we're currently running a huge Triton promo special with a discount for a turn masterclass. Check out everything below. Also, I've made a special quiz for this hand. You get to learn how to lead on the flop. Should we have leads? You see the texture. Greenwood defends from the big blind. What hand should we lead, if we should lead? Then also on the turn, very, very special turn card. How should we play our ranges there? I made a very special hand review quiz where not only you're supposed to give input yourself, but you also get to see explanation videos with ranges in play and everything you need to know. And the best news, it's for free. And only now during the Triton special. All you need to do is to sign up and then you can do the quiz, no strings attached, and hopefully you learn something. In case you have missed it, yeah, we partnered up with Triton, so now we're gonna be doing a lot of content throughout the series. You also might see some Raise Your Edge advertisement on the stream. Super excited about this, especially having the ability as an official partner to create a lot of content around it.
Queen 9 suited now for Rocco. Greenwood mulling over the 9-3 suited out of the big. Both players sharing the 9. 6-4 deuce flop. Advantage Rocco with the diamond draw here.
So pre-flop, Rocco open raises from under the gun. Nothing so special here. They're over 100 big blinds deep, 2,500, so they're playing effectively like roughly 150 big blinds. The defend pre-flop is interesting, and that's where I want to take a little break and see or show you if this is a good defend or not. 9-3 suited, usually suited hands are pretty good. This is chippy V, but we want to use ICM adjusted ranges. 90% of the field left, only a few people busted at this point, so let's see what changes. So you see that the range already goes from 61% down to 55%, and 9-3 suited is still a defend. Considering here around 2.5x open sizes, or 2.1 big blinds. Sorry, if someone opens bigger, 2.5, 3 big blinds, of course you need to defend tighter, but just to give you an orientation. We definitely see a lot of ace-x and these offsuited jack 8, queen 8, around these hands. It's just not good. It's better to defend 5-4 off, 6-4 off, 7-5 off. Chippy V, we defend wider, but again, we're playing a tournament, so we need to factor in the ICM impact. If you're new, there's also a lot of YouTube content from us for free where I break it further down, explain how it impacts different stages and so on and so forth. You find plenty of content on our YouTube channel. All right, let's go back to the action. It's a board where it is really difficult for EP. The thing though is it might look that Greenwood has a huge range advantage, but it's not really the case because he's not defending those offsuited 2 pairs here, right? He's not going to have 6 deuce off, 4 deuce off. It would be better when he has all the offsuited 2 pairs, like 8, 6, 5 kind of boards, where he's going to have more straights, more 2 pairs.
We did see Soiza lead on this kind of board texture with a little gutty, but
Greenwood with the gutter. Has checked it. Rocco taking his time before reaching out. Delivering a 5,500 chip follow through.
not the nicest piece, but you know what? It's a piece for 9-3 suited. I feel like against this small sizing, you gotta kind of make a stand somewhere, whether it's a check raise or check call. I think Greenwood knows this.
Now, he just calls, which I like. It's a very weak hand to raise. If he has 9-3 in clubs, it's a lot better to check raise, I think, so far against the small side. I also like that Rocco bets small. Very good board awareness, because he doesn't want to play a big pot with a lot of hands in his range. He wants to keep the pot small because Greenwood still has the nut advantage. So if Rocco would start betting big, it simply plays in his cards because he has the straights, he has more sets, he has more two pairs. But of course, also he's going to have a lot of crap in his range that has completely whiffed on this board. So that's why the small sizing attacks this very wide range, all the auto folds, and keeps the pot small in case Greenwood has a big hand. That's how it works on this board.
Does make the call. Fishing for a 3, 5, or a 9. He comes up with a 5, but it's in the form of a diamond, Randy. 6 high straight against queen high diamonds now.
The dream.
Or the nightmare, depending on whose perspective you take. Greenwood checking over to Rocco.
The 5 of diamonds, nice flush to hit because it's the type of card that improves the big blind check calling range, whether it's like 8-7 or 6-5 or the 3x. Like, wow, he checks it back.
So on the turn, it goes check, check. I don't think it's a, yeah, I mean, it could be a good card to lead. This is something I will also cover in the quiz. So if you're curious if this is actually a good card to lead, what to lead, and how wide to lead, do the quiz.
Oh, and this could be trouble for Greenwood. The king of clubs does not rate to impact anything.
I think Rocco checked back the turn because that card he's supposed to be scared of normally. So he's protecting the other parts of his range that should be weak on this board texture right now.
Greenwood's going to dial up what he thinks is a value bet, but 24,000, which is roughly full pot, is going to get raised.
It's going to cause some confusion for Greenwood why his opponent is raising.
92. We raised
Oh, man.
He's like, really?
Yeah, he really did not expect this at all.
And on the river, Greenwood bets big. I think I like it because he's still going to have lots of bluffs, right? He floats with some queen eyes backdoor flush draw, ace eyes backdoor flush draw. So he still gets on the river with a lot of bluffs. Like, of course, the 5 is really, really good. And now Rocco raises. I also like that he mixes in some checkbacks here with these weak flushes because it's a really tricky card to play. Your range is very overcard heavy, very Broadway heavy. You'll have a lot of like king, queen, king, jack. And you want to check them back because you don't want to face a raise and get pushed off your equity. If you have king, jack, jack, and diamonds, you face a raise, you can't call. You rather want to check it back, see a free card, and potentially hit your diamond and keep the pot small. And that's a shitload of hands, right? So you might think, wow, he's playing fancy, tricky. It's actually a pretty smart play, in my opinion, to check back some of your flushes. It just shows he's very aware, very aware of what is going on this turn card. And now, of course, Greenwood has a clear value bet, plays it very well. Not so much to say. You want to bet against rivered king X, over pairs, because Rocco on this run out, he doesn't want to value bet pocket 8s or 9s, but he will occasionally bluff catch. So now, of course, he has the easiest value raise. Don't be scared against this pot pet and think, oh, he's always going to have a nut flush. I've seen some weird calls in even online tournaments. Of course, expect on that level of play that people will find these value raises. He puts in the value raise, and Greenwood is in that spot where nobody of us wants to be, hating our lives and contemplating. Now, easy to say when you see the cards, right? I would fold. I think you have a lot of better bluff catchers. I'm not sure if he would bet something like 4-5 with a 4 in diamonds, but if he would, I think that's a much better bluff catcher, blocking the ace 4 in diamonds, just a few. Or if you have, let's say, king 6 off with the king in diamonds, if you opted to call it pre, don't think it's the best defend as we just have seen in the preflop ranges, but I just think that your range is so flush heavy that I don't think that Rocco is gonna go so nuts in this spot. He will certainly have bluffs, don't get me wrong. And you have still like sets and shit that you need to bluff catch. Maybe he thinks, okay, I'm gonna be calling all my flushes, I'm gonna be calling some of my straights, and I'm gonna be folding, sets in 2 pairs. The most likely hands are bluffs like ace queen, ace jack. The thing though is he could bluff those. I just think, again, that's my personal opinion, based on how I think the population plays from my experience. If they have ace queen, especially the nut flush draws, are very likely to continue barreling the turn, right? They have an ace high diamond, blocks a lot of the check raises coming from Greenwood's range, and also are strong enough to continue. You don't want to have the king in diamonds. Let's say you barrel king queen, right? You have the king in diamonds. you don't want to face a raise or you don't want to call against a raise because very often you might be drawing dead already. But having the ace in diamonds, you're never going to be dead unless he has 3-4 in diamonds. All right, unlucky. So I think Rocco is probably checking back a lot of the weaker diamonds, but very often he should be barreling the ace high diamonds. Again, just my opinion. And on the river, then it's really hard to have these bluffs. Now, because now something like King, Queen, King, Jack, I think he just calls. He doesn't turn this into a bluff. I also don't think he has a lot of these ace high diamonds, ace Jack or ace Queen, because Greenwood still gonna have plenty of bluffs here. So in case Rocco opts to check back ace Queen, ace Jack with ace and diamonds, he would probably might bluff this sometimes. Don't get me wrong. It's also something we're breaking down with a solver and all the ranges properly impaired in the quiz. So you get to see how we're supposed to play this spot in theory. This is just my opinion. I like to approach this spot more exploitatively. So that's my conclusion on the spot. But of course, it's always good to know how we're supposed to play it in theory. And I would always adjust based on theory. And I just think that even the best players in the world are lacking a lot of natural bluffs here. And this is what you want to identify. You don't want to be hero calling in spots where our opponents are lacking natural bluffs. I don't think people would bluff pocket 8s, pocket 9s with 1 diamond. You really want to block strong flushes in Greenwood's range. Don't think it's terrible though, but again, just based on what I see, that people would probably just mostly bluff strong, like maybe Queen Jack off would be a reasonable bluff.
I mean, as you reconstruct the hand, we have an upfront raise from Rocco, a follow through on the flop that was normally sized, then the check back on the arrival of the 5 of diamonds, followed by a raise when the king of clubs rolls off.
Yeah, this is odd for Greenwood.
Yeah.
Confused. Oh, looks like he wants to pitch him in. Nope.
And that's just such a demoralizing feeling for Greenwood, who you can absolutely understand and relate to in that spot. It's almost like just, I gotta know what you have here. You know, I have what I'm supposed to have. What do you have? And Rocco with quite a bit more hand than I think Greenwood would have expected.
However, Greenwood calls it off. He is wrong. Think it's a spot where you can find a fold. It's very marginal. Also consider ICM future game. You don't want to make chippy V approved hero calls, right? So, especially when you give yourself an edge. And I think these are a lot softer than online 25Ks and 10Ks. So, can see this here and there making these hero calls in very, very tough fields. I'm not a big fan of making these marginal hero calls on the river, even though I still sometimes do them, but I'm still not a big fan of it. But yeah, Rocco, nicely played, well played on every single street. Might have gotten maximum value, but you know, I think the way he plays his range in a very smart way, well played. And Greenwood, I slightly like the fold more, but I've definitely done these calls myself. It's so easy to level yourself into something, so I don't want to blame him, especially on this level. And you also here and there probably want to make the calls to show that, hey, you cannot push me around. These are small fields. Maybe he had some reads, you know, and he went with this. You never know, so don't judge. Don't say it's like a bad play. It's certainly not a bad play. Just I slightly lean more towards folding. I'm not trying to be politically correct here. If it's a stupid play, then I would also say that. But in these spots, it's really fucked up. And you probably think about this spot for several days. So, more action to come the next couple of days. Don't forget to subscribe and to like. Going to be reviewing a lot of these very marginal spots. And we're also going to be utilizing paired, where you can quiz yourself all different streets, what to do with video explanations in between. Great way of studying, great way of understanding poker, honestly. It's not about studying, it's about understanding. Everything below, don't forget, we're running a Triton special promo with 20% off on the TMC. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and then see you in the next video. And also stay tuned, I'm going to be doing a lot of watch parties on Twitch as well.